Welcome back to Good Morning LaLa. We have Candice Bar in the house, who's a boss lady. She's an entrepreneur, and she's a celebrity interviewer. How's that?
Oh, yes.
All the way up from San Diego.
Yes. How's it going?
Super good.
Well,
so blessed.
It's so funny because Candice and I met at a red carpet a couple weeks ago, and it's by no surprise that she is one of the most elite networkers in the entire world. So I see this gorgeous woman on the red carpet, and I was like, who is that one? And then she was like, who is that one? Sure enough, networking, we connected, and now you're here with us.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I remember you had this, I think, a Gemini necklace on.
I did,
and I
and
commented
I'm
on your
wearing it now.
necklace.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, really cute. I loved it. So that was such a fun event, too.
It was. We were at the Enigma magazine event in Beverly Hills at the Montage. We love the Montage. But, you know, I bring up that story because we want to talk about networking.
Yes.
Obviously, you are the queen of it.
Oh, thank you.
How has that played into your role as an entrepreneur?
You know, especially in Los Angeles, if you live in LA, you have to network. You have to network. And for any type of business that you're in, whether you're an actor or you're a business professional, whatever you do. But when you network, you need to network well with people who can actually afford your services and help you get to wherever you want to go. So knowing that several years ago, I already had an established network here, which has grown since the last 15 years of networking. And I really just place people where they need to be placed for the maximum for them and their business, saving them a lot of time and energy.
So how would you describe networking? Because it kind of has a bad rap, especially here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, well, there's good ways to do things and not so good ways to do things. Like, you really need to know what you're doing, or if you don't know what you're doing, you need to hone in on that skill. So you have to have kind of like a sixth sense when you walk into the room or what event you're going to. You have to be able to kind of feel, see, smell what you're looking for. You have to have an intention before you walk into the event of what you're looking for, what you need to get out of it, and what you can give to other people as well.
So true. We've all gone to networking and gotten a pile of business cards. Gone, oh, cool. So now what? Like, and then no one actually follows through with anything. And like, that was a waste of time. I'm just meeting a bunch of people, and I can just nurture the relationships that I already have.
Yeah, well, those relationships, it's great to nurture relationships, but like, those are going to run out. And so you need to always be gathering more and more and more. Again, it's always quality over quantity. You can have a million business cards, but if they're useless, or if you don't use them, or if you don't follow up, then it's a waste of everyone's time.
So what would you say is the greatest piece of advice in terms of following up like well and successfully? Because I think sometimes that can be a challenge.
Really good question. A lot of people, they fall short in the follow-up, and that's where the money is. So follow-up, my rule is 3 times you're out. So I will call someone. It's your business. It's up to you to call a person. Don't wait for them to call you, number one. Number two is the 3 time you're out rule. I'll call you 3 times, an actual phone call, not text. Most of the time, and not email, an actual, old school phone call. And if the person can't then call you back after 3 times, I rip up that card, throw it away. I don't need piles of business cards that I didn't connect with.
Interesting. That's great. Yeah.
So I'm just curious, so maybe you can give us a little advice.
Sure.
Because obviously we have a little bit different of a concept here. We're not traditional business in that we're really on a mission and purpose driven. So when our intention is really to help raise everyone's intention up. But their lives up. But we have had, over 400 guests on the show, and I know we personally all struggle with following through. There's so many extraordinary people that we come in contact with, and we're community driven. How would you say to follow through with all those 400 guests?
Well, first I would say it's great to have a purpose and to have a bigger mission. I think a lot of businesses and a lot of people either start out with that purpose or still have that purpose. So you have to have a purpose in what you do. If you don't know what you're doing, then there's no reason to do it. But if you personally can't follow up with someone, assistants are great. As long as someone on your team or that represents you is following up with these people.
What's the best way to follow up to get people to respond? Because I think that's the challenge. Like even my clients will say, oh, I've met this great person, we had a great conversation, I've been following up, and I can't get them to respond. In fact, I can't get anyone to respond. I say, what should we do?
I would give them a time frame. Let them know, example, you can call me back anytime today before 6 p.m. That's when I'll be available. Especially in Los Angeles, I'm going to say that again and again. In LA, if people don't have a deadline, It's like, well, wherever the wind blows, airy fairy. And I love LA, so I love LA, so I'm not, harping on LA. But you are, again, it's your business, so you give them a time frame. You have to be a little strict. And then typically when people have a time frame, they end up following up.
Interesting.
So not only are you a master networker, but you are an entrepreneur.
I am.
Tell us a little bit about your businesses and your ventures.
So, so I'm a professional networker. So entrepreneurs of high net worth or corporations will hire me to connect them or place them in front of their ideal clientele, and we do that internationally. And then I also teach on networking, proper networking skills. I created a system 8 years ago, how to go into networking events, leave with your maximum benefits, and how to turn your contacts into profit instantaneously.
Huh.
Wait,
That's
pause.
pretty good.
That's pretty amazing because I'm so invested in my social capital. So you're telling me I can make money off of that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Where would somebody even begin doing that?
You'd hire me.
Is that what Visionaries is?
It's actually Candice Bar International. It's been changed from Visionaries to Candice Bar International, I think 3 years ago. But it's, every connections, your network is your net worth. So that is a literal term.
Mic
Yeah,
drop.
we say it all the time.
Yeah.
So, and also the show, so you interview celebrities, and we found the same thing, that the brilliance of a show, of course, a show can become huge and whatever, but the contacts and the networking and all that, that's the genius of a show. So when you interview celebrities, what's the intention around that?
For them, they're usually wanting to be on the show to, Lux Life is all about sharing the life journey and the story before the successes. So we always see the successes, but we don't see the grind and the struggle and sometimes the blood, sweat, and tears.
All the networking they had to do.
All the extreme networking they had to do and the ups and downs of life. So sometimes they just want to share their story because a lot of people don't know the real story until it comes out of their mouth. Other times they're pitching a book or they're pitching a new movie coming out or something like that. That's why they probably would want to be on the show.
So I have a question for you. As a fellow female entrepreneur, Erin and I have talked a lot about this with Rob. How do you avoid the business meeting that turns into a date situation?
That is a very good question. I think in the beginning of my business, I might have had a couple issues like that.
It's a very gray area.
It is a gray area. I am pretty strict in business, so I think when people have a meeting with me or they contact me, they already know how I am anyway before we have the meeting. So, and if they don't for whatever reason, we have the meeting and I make it very clear if I sense anything like that at all, that this is purely a business meeting. I have no interest in you at all.
But how do you make that clear without making them feel bad? You don't want to say, I have no interest in you. So we'll have a dirty martini and we can continue this conversation.
Give me some money.
Yeah. And by the way, I need $1 million to invest in my business.
Right. Again, it depends who you're dealing with and how you can talk to them. I've had a couple business meetings in the past where I let them know that directly. I think as I've gotten more seasoned in business.
And that wasn't awkward? I mean, when you directly said, look, I am not interested.
Well, I feel if you're being so direct with me, I can be so direct with you.
Yeah.
So if they are, it depends on what lines they're crossing, how comfortable I feel. It depends on the scenario, but I will deal with it as I need to deal with it.
So especially in this Time's Up, Me Too moment that we're having as a society, how do you advise women in doing?
I advise women, I don't tolerate much. So I think people do as much as you tolerate. And if you don't tolerate something, it won't be done.
That's so powerful. That's hard because for me, I'm like, I'm a little bit of a people pleaser and I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable, even though I'm uncomfortable. And while I certainly have boundaries and uphold my integrity, I think sometimes, I tolerate more than I like to be quite honest. Because I don't want to make them uncomfortable.
I would imagine there's part of this that's sort of customizable for each individual too, right? So if a certain person has a certain personality traits, you'd really want to help them cultivate a networking style that felt organic and authentic to them.
Right. That is completely true. Yeah. And to kind of go back to what you were saying, again, it's a case-by-case scenario. It depends who you're dealing with. It depends. You have to kind of go with how you feel. I believe 1,000% intuition. So if I feel uncomfortable or if they're making me feel uncomfortable for any reason, I then kick it up a couple notches and let them know we're stopping here. If it's, you have to really you have to be strong in yourself. You have to be bold. You're a business professional. You're a businesswoman. Especially this time right now, being a female entrepreneur, you really have to stand your ground.
So true. A girlfriend of mine years ago is genius at it, and what she would do is she did have a boyfriend, so it's a little awkward if you don't have a boyfriend, but she would, before, like in the first 2 minutes of a conversation, somewhere she would drop, yeah, my boyfriend and I one day went over here. Or she'd drop it in so that it just didn't become in their perception of how that was going to go with that person.
Yeah.
So they still wanted her in their life, whether it was for business or for a friend or whatever, but they knew, they already categorized her. Like, I think people categorize you within like a few minutes of first meeting you. So it's tough if you don't want to lie, but at the same time, it is something.
Well, if it gets you out of something that you don't want to be in,
yeah.
Eliza, I'm wondering though, who have been your mentors in business?
I've had so many awesome mentors, both male and female. And I was thinking about this on the drive up here, actually. I've been so blessed at a really young age to have somehow attracting these amazing, awesome mentors that help mold me to where I am, who I am today. And I'm so blessed to have them. Again, male and female. So you can learn from everybody.
But clearly you you decided, was there a point in time in your life when you said, I am going to be successful. I'm going to have money. I'm going to claim this for myself. Where was that moment? Was it just something you were born with, or was it a decision?
You know, I think it happened at a really, really, really young age. I was raised an entrepreneur. My parents were entrepreneurs. My great-grandparents were entrepreneurs. My grandparents were entrepreneurs. So I just, even though I'm from New Hampshire, from a very small town.
That explains it.
I remember like going to the bigger cities and like going to get like the Italian Vogue magazines, and I was always kind of different than my surroundings. I always wanted, there was just a desire, I don't know how or where it started, there was just a desire within to want more, have more, and I don't have a ceiling, so.
No ceilings, love that.
With no ceiling, what is it that you want? What is your mission?
You know, I'm very happy that business, we get to help people internationally. I love traveling so much. I love different cultures. I love different people. I love different experiences. And so luckily, business has brought me to different areas and different people. And I just love being able to have these different experiences with people like you guys and everybody else, just to be able to connect as many people as humanly possible. Hopefully, best for both parties, but it's definitely going to be for my client for sure. So
I love that.
What have you learned about yourself in making all these connections?
You know, to be a little bit more understanding, to be a little bit more calm. When I was younger, I was definitely more aggressive, if you can imagine that. And just, it helped me grow up much faster.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So do you have any practice that you keep your mind right? A lot of our guests in the morning will say that they start the day with meditation and whatever. Is there anything that you do in particular to make sure that you're staying grounded within yourself?
I do. So I love working out, so I have to work out in the morning for sure, if I can. Sometimes I work out twice a day just to keep my mind balanced. You know, the 5-minute journal, I'm sure everyone knows about the 5-minute journal. So 5-minute journal in the morning. I try to meditate. I'm not going to tell you that I meditate every day. I try to. Eating right, health is very important to me. So just kind of having all those boxes checked off, I try as much as possible to do these things. Yeah.
So good. Yeah, so such a great, so inspiring. I think today's world with women going into business, we don't have a lot of mentors, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And so thank you for stepping into that and just being a powerful woman. How can people learn more about your work? How can they find you?
They can email my office at clsmk1@yahoo.com, or then call the office at 818-310-8802.
Love
Right.
it.
I like
so
it.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
The boss lady in the house. We are Good Morning La La, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And you can catch all of your favorite interviews, also available as a podcast on iTunes.
That's right. We're waking up the world together. Have a wonderful day. Please like, share, and comment. And check out the Master Boss, the Lady Boss Connector. Have a great day, you guys.
It's going to be a Good Morning La La Land.